Seattle has so much going for it. It's got a needle for poking space, rain, vampires, but most importantly, it has PAX West. Some folks were worried that in a year supposedly light on games, there wouldn't be much to go to PAX for, but those folks are wrong. After spending the weekend at the Seattle Convention Center, I'm here to tell you about my favorite stuff that I saw at the show, including what you can get now and what you should get on your wish list ASAP. The main reason I wanted to go to PAX was because I found out that the team at Wishes Unlimited would be showing off their game Beastieball, a turn-based tactics RPG where you recruit beasties to play volleyball and then become champion of the Beastieball League. It'll have about 100 beasties to meet, and all of them have so many traits that make them unique. It's hard to pick a favorite. Why does my pitch for it sound so polished? Well, that's because I volunteered to help out at the booth so I could spread the good word of Beastieball. That's right, it's such a good game that I asked if I could help out, and thankfully, the team behind it let me join. If you're into creature collectors and want to try something that shakes up the format, Beastieball has a free demo on Steam, and it should drop later this year. You're going to want to sit down before you hear about this next game. Chairs is a sensory overload, masquerading as a game, and I love it. You play as a sentient chair, tumbling its way through bright, low-poly worlds and collecting prisms. The gameplay feels like if a 3D Sonic game was turned up to 11, with an added dash of extra 90s nostalgia and a healthy helping of irreverent humor. It's available now on Steam for just $5. Panic's booth had some great stuff there as well, with my favorite being their oversized Playdate. While the 5-foot-tall system wasn't actually playable, they had plenty of tiny Playdates on display for people to try. If you haven't checked out my recent Playdate video, you definitely should give it a look. The Playdate's a funky little handheld that invokes 90s nostalgia and serves as a haven for all kinds of bite-sized indie titles. It might not be powerful, but it's the most important thing a game console can be: fun. One of the newest Playdate titles on display was 00 Perfect Stop. It's a deceptively simple game about operating a train, where you have to control the acceleration and brakes. It somehow manages to have gorgeous 3D graphics on the Playdate's black and white screen, and a gameplay loop so zen, I'd get too into the zone as a train driver. If you own a Playdate, this is a must-have at only $6. If you tried a Playdate at PAX and you ended up loving it, good news! They had Playdates available for sale there, including a bundle that included a Playdate and a pizza box cover in an actual pizza box. Chef's kiss. Mwah. Perfect. Panic wasn't just there with the Playdate though. They were showing off Herdling, Nour, Arco, and Thank Goodness You're Here. Most folks know Panic because they published Untitled Goose Game.
Wait, I love that game. Who plays Goose Game?
But their upcoming title Herdling is a shift in a completely different direction. It looks to be much bigger and much more somber than other titles they've published. It looks sort of like Last Guardian meets sheep herding, and I am very interested. The line for this one was always so long, so I never got my hands on it, but I'm excited to try it when it drops. Their other titles on display I'm much more familiar with. I talked a bit about Nour in my previous video. It's an interactive art exhibit where you play with digital food, and it just dropped on Switch, but it's been out on PC and PlayStation for about a year. Thank Goodness You're Here makes an amazing fit for Panic. This is genuinely one of the funniest games I've ever played. It's a nonsensical 2D animated romp through the town of Barnsworth. And I think it's way more fun to play than to watch, because your interact button is just hitting things. Half the fun of the game is being just a little menace and kicking everything. The other half is how there's always something funny going on screen. And the third half of the fun is all the zany characters you're dealing with. Arco goes in a completely different direction, but is still a complete banger. Instead of whimsy and 2D animation, you get a somber story with pixel art. It's a turn-based strategy game with a heavy story of invaders coming to native lands. The combat system takes a little bit of time to get a hold of, but once you do, it feels so good. One of the other titles that caught my eye on the show floor was Exercise Your Demons. I'm all for a good pun, and I think exercise titles on VR are a great fit for getting fit. The character designs are peak, and I'm really excited to check this out. I'll try it out later though, because I don't like wearing anyone else's VR hardware but my own. When I went to Japan, I was able to navigate Shibuya just on my experience from playing The World Ends With You. It's one of my favorite games, so when I found out that it was collaborating with Reynatis, I was instantly interested. Reynatis is an RPG about wizards in Shibuya, so I'm definitely gonna need to check it out when it drops in September. I keep on seeing people put Life is Strange Double Exposure on their best of PAX West lists, but if it was on display, I have no idea where it was. If I'd known it was there, I'd be there in a heartbeat. My dog Maxine is named after the main character. I love Life is Strange. That said, I didn't actually see it at the show, but the game looks like it's gonna be fire, so I'm jazzed about that too, so that's why it's in this video. On the topic of games with time travel, Seasonspree is a 2D side-scroller about a time-traveling tanuki. It's much lighter fare than most of the hardcore games I saw at PAX, but it was refreshing. It's got gorgeous art and great character designs, and it's been built with accessibility in mind. It can be played with a single Joy-Con and has simple controls so players of all ages and abilities can enjoy it. For my time with it, I got the vibe that it would be a bit of puzzle solving and a bit of fetch quests, but was engaging enough that apparently one person spent their whole day at the booth playing it. If you need something light and breezy for your to-play list, Seasonspree should be on it. If you're not looking for light and breezy, Antonblast is what you're looking for. Pizza Tower fans rejoice! There's another entry in the Wario Land-like genre. This is another explosive platformer inspired by the GBA era that looks like it's gonna be a blast. I spent most of my time at PAX West at the Rivals 2 booth though, and it's not just because the Aether Studios team is super cool and great to talk with. It's because Rivals is just fun to play. Even though I've been playing plenty of the beta, getting to play a free-for-all in person is so much more fun. Playing online doesn't hit the same as couch multiplayer, and getting to throw down with strangers was an absolute blast. Rivals 2 feels like playing Smash for the first time again in some ways. It's so polished and fun! I can't wait for it to drop! Also, it has Fleet. We love Fleet. So yeah, those were the games at PAX that I'm most excited about. If I missed anything that you're hyped for, let me know in the comments. And also, let me know what you're really hyped for this year. Thanks for watching my video, and I'll catch you next time. Bye!